What's up, everyone, and welcome to another Bitcoin market update. Let's start off here on the monthly time frame for Bitcoin. So we had this monthly close that was very bullish, very good news for the bulls for continuation. We have a short upper wick signifying to us that there was not a lot of selling in this month. Uh, if you're just looking at the monthly time frame, that's what that tells you. And then a very short lower wick on the candle. You can see it, it's barely visible there. So as soon as this month opened right here, people started buying, and then it closed all the way up here around 58,905. So when you see candles like that, that's telling you that that's a very good candle for continuation, because um, if you were to have a long upper wick, that would be telling you that a lot of people are selling their Bitcoin as the price rises up, and therefore it pushed the price back down and closed at a lower level. You can see that this candle from January is like that with this long upper wick of profit taking, but then the subsequent next month invalidated that with an extremely long candle here, with another long upper wick, but then this candle invalidated that one again and has continued this rise in price. Now this candle looks the most bullish out of these three, so this looks good for continuation, but we need to keep in mind that we're very overbought on the RSI. That doesn't necessarily mean that the run is going to be over, because we're so overbought, but it means that we need to be aware that we may be getting near the end of the bull market. And that's something I've been talking about in the past several videos. So it's just something to keep in mind. And then here we have the weekly time frame. So in the weekly time frame, our main support level is down here at this blue level. But besides that, we have made all of these higher highs in price. Currently, right now, we made another higher low right here and are pushing up to try and push for a new all-time high. You can see we have the decreasing bear volume here on this drawdown in price, signifying that it's very likely this week that we're going to get a green volume candle, and that's exactly what we're getting right now. Now this closes in 2 days and 12 hours, so we still have a little bit of time before this weekly candle closes. So let's look at the daily time frame for a little bit more clarity on where we might be going next. So when we look at the daily time frame, we've been talking about this doji candle that we got back here on the 31st of March. Now these two candles, we got two back-to-back dojis. We got another one yesterday. Now this is two candles in a row where we were seeing decreasing bear volume here. So we swept this high, meaning that we rose into this price level and then rejected off of it immediately, and closed below it, signifying to us that we grabbed some stop losses up here, triggered some stop losses, and then pushed us down in price. We did not go into my gray zone that it was our support level here. This is our main daily support level, but instead closed up here and had a long lower wick of people buying the dip. Now since that point, yesterday we were talking about, we need to see some sort of price action that's telling us either we're going to go up or we're going to go down, because the doji candle is just telling us there's indecision, so there needs to be a break in one direction. Now yesterday we closed an inside bar, which we talked about was very likely. Then as soon as the daily opened for today, we had a rise in price and broke the high of this candle. Now this increases our likelihood that we'll probably just go up to this 63K level before going down to this gray level. It doesn't completely rule out that we're going to go down to this gray level, but what you would need to see for us to move down to that level would either be today's daily candle to close below this high, and then the next daily candle to break the low of this today's candle and push us down, or a close above, but then the next daily candle closes back below, and then the daily candle after that pushes us down into this level. So those are kind of the scenarios. We would need to see. The most bullish scenario here is if we just go from here and we just rise all the way up to new all-time highs. The second scenario is where we just went above this high, but then we end up coming back down below in the next subsequent couple days. And then the other scenario is we close above this high for today, and then tomorrow we close back below, and then the subsequent third day we come down into this level. Now, it's not a guarantee that, you know, we're going to get down to this level, like I said, before we go up to new all-time highs, if we do go up to new all-time highs. But you can see there's not a lot of resistance up here. Our main resistance levels, and the reason why I talk about that 63K level, is because of this pivot R3 level that's up at about 63.2. So if we go to the daily time frame, our other resistance level up here is at about 65.5. So if we're to come down to this level, that's a very good risk reward entry. If we go to let's go down to the lower term time frames and see what we're dealing with here. So on the lower term time frames, we have had some chop around this area. So that means that there's not a lot of like definitive moves in price. There's just a lot of wicking up and down. And so this yellow level is our main resistance level, and that's on the 4-hour time frame back here on March 15th. That's this big white candle right here. So you can see we've rejected off of this level several times now, and we're getting close to breaking through it. Now, if we break above this level, if we break above this 4-hour level and close 2 4-hour candles above this level, that is where you can look to enter on a, that's where I personally will, it's not financial advice, be clear on that. This is all for educational purposes only. That's where I personally will look to open along on a retest because of the fact that this is such an established resistance level. When you have such an established resistance level in price, when you finally break above that and close above it and have invalidated it as a resistance level, that on a retest is going to be a very significantly strong support level because of the fact that we've held it so many times as resistance. So if we come back into it as support, like if we did something like this where, you know, we came above here, retested it, the first test, it's almost certain to hold, like these types of levels are almost certain to hold and have a bounce off of them because of the fact that like I said, they've been tested so many times. There's so much volume in this area. Let's look on the VPVR just to see. Yeah, so you can see that the VPVR already has these high volume nodes in this area. And so if we do end up closing above this, it'll end up being, it'll end up being confluent with these high volume areas here. So what you could do is you could put your stop loss down below the level, and then you could take this up to where you think the price is going to go. Now, the only way that, in my opinion, this trade becomes valid for me is if we end up going above that 63K level and we go into that 65.5 daily pivot level, which is somewhere, I think it's like, yeah, it's roughly 65.5. So let's just pull it to 65.5. So that would be a 2.85 risk reward if we ended up going up to 65.5. So that would still be a good trade. Now, if we did not go up to that level and we went to the 63, like roughly 63 level, well, that lines up almost perfectly with this R2. So let's just pull it a little bit higher than that. That is not a good risk reward in my opinion because it's a 1.5. So it's not as good of a risk reward because if the trade goes your way, you're only going to make 1.5 times what you would make if the trade did not go your way. So I usually look for risk rewards above 2, but that is all I got for this one, guys, on the Bitcoin. I hope you liked the video. If you liked it, give it a like and subscribe for future educational content. And until next time, onward and upward.